Welcome to DS Trucks. In today's video, we're going to be testing MOTORCRAFT cetane booster and performance improver. This is MOTORCRAFT's fuel additive for diesel engines. Recently, we've tested the anti-gel performance improver, and only thing we can really test with this is MPG because it hasn't been that cold around here. So as far as MPG is concerned, we saw no improvements in the MPG department, but the anti-gel additive does not advertise itself as a cetane booster. Although some say the anti-gel additive from MOTORCRAFT does have some cetane in it, it doesn't advertise that it has cetane in it. So we're going to actually test today the cetane booster and performance improver and see if this product increases our MPG at all. Now, it is a MOTORCRAFT product, so you can trust that it is a good product, and it will add the lubricity to the system and protect the fuel system a little bit. But can we see any improvement in MPG using the product? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive this F450 on the freeway while loaded. It's going to have a snow plow on it, and it's going to have a load of salt in the salt spreader. So there is some weight on the truck. We're gonna establish a baseline, what the truck's getting as it sits with today's conditions, with today's temperature. We're gonna see what the truck gets. Then we're gonna go ahead and add our cetane booster. We're gonna top off the truck and then see what it gets with the cetane booster in the tank. And we'll see if it gets any better. Now, I know it's not exactly a perfect scientific test, but it's about as good as we can get. And I know the trip computer is not necessarily accurate, but if it is inaccurate, it should be inaccurate for both tests, but should at least show us the difference. But anyway, let's take a look here in the spreader and see what we got in here, because there is some weight in the spreader. Let me take a look. So yeah, there's a good amount of salt in here. Could be close to 2,000 pounds. And we got a 1,000-pound snow plow on the front. This old Fisher XLS expanding wing snow plow weighs about 1,000 pounds. So we're gonna go ahead and see what the truck gets. We'll establish a baseline, and then we'll add our cetane and see what the truck gets. See you guys inside of the truck. All right, guys. So inside the truck here, we are gonna reset the trip computer. Trip 1, we'll go ahead and reset to 0. We'll also reset trip 2, and this will be our starting location. We will start both tests from here. And we will actually have all the stopping and going and everything involved. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on the road. We'll get on the freeway. We'll drive 15-20 miles out and see what the truck gets without any additive in it. See you guys on the freeway. All right, guys, so headed to the freeway, and I have to say that I've done this test with the anti-gel and performance improver, and we saw no increase in MPG with the anti-gel. Now, the main job of the anti-gel is not to improve MPG, it is to prevent freezing of the fuel in the lines. And it could be that it only really improves the MPG in extreme cold conditions. So that's not necessarily false advertising or anything. The reality of the situation is it just isn't that cold this year in general. It's just in our area we haven't been that cold. So, being a MOTORCRAFT product, it is the best fuel additive probably for your Super Duty. But I do want to test the AMSOIL fuel additive. It's an all-in-one. I think they call it 4-in-1, but it does add the lubricity. It does add the cetane. It does everything all in one bottle. So I've seen a lot of good reviews of that, and I've seen people do MPG tests with that additive and actually see. Oh man, looks like that garbage truck's on fire. I've actually seen MPG tests with the AMSOIL additive and seen the benefits of it. So as far as MPG is concerned, and also too with the AMSOIL product, I've seen the cold freeze test of that product, and it is a really good product. So I do want to try that next. Here we are getting on the freeway with some weight on the truck. But yeah, I do want to actually get around to trying that AMSOIL. Truck has no problem accelerating, and that is what you'd expect with 1,050 foot-pounds of torque. But I do want to actually get around to trying the AMSOIL product as well. But it's going to be in time. Now, with this test, as you know, as I've said, I've tested the anti-gel additive from Ford MOTORCRAFT, and I did run a few tanks of fuel without any additive in order to get a pretty decent test. So there is nothing in the tank. I've probably ran 2 tanks of fuel through it since doing the last test. And now as far as speed is concerned, we're going to keep it pretty civilized, probably 65 the whole way if possible, just because in the first test I did hit a little traffic on the second run, and hopefully that's not the case this time, because there is less traffic this time for sure. It's less of a busy time of the day, whereas toward the second test on the first run that I did with the anti-gel, on the second test it was getting later in the day, and we started to hit a little rush hour traffic. But anyway, we are just 2 miles in. We are getting 9.8 miles to the gallon. I'm gonna go ahead and set the cruise here at 65, and we'll go on cruise. But if you look at the truck, guys, if you look at my truck, you notice I have that rubber flap, and I always wondered, what is that rubber flap doing at highway speeds? Is it just like flying in the wind? Like, what is it doing? So I should mount a camera outside of the truck and actually have the camera look at the rubber flap and make sure it's all good. I think it's all good, but on the highway. But yeah, going down a highway and driving 65 can be problematic, because now I'm holding up a semi truck and he doesn't want to go 65. So maybe I'll bump it up a little bit to maybe 70, and that'll be our speed that we run, is 70. Anyway, truck's doing good. It's got weight on it. The truck likes to have weight on it. We're getting 10.8 at 3.3 miles. Put a couple more miles on the truck and I will touch base with you guys. See you in a few. Alright, so we're on the road here and we're getting 14.1 miles to the gallon, and we are 13.1 miles in. And that's pretty amazing that we're getting 14.1 to the gallon with all this weight and driving at this speed. Now, we did end up settling up 66 miles per hour, because that is the speed limit for trucks. And with everything on the truck right now, I might as well do what the speed limit is. And I know there's this fuel tanker that's not wanting to go that speed, but the other trucks are going that speed, and he's been trying to pass, and I can't let that truck get me to go and ruin my test and go way faster than I need to go. So I did end up settling up on 66 miles per hour. I set the cruise, and for the second run I'm going to go ahead and hit 70 for about 3-4 minutes and then go back down to 66. But as you see, that tanker is whipping around everybody. He's whipping around me and the other truck. This is actually where we're going to get off anyway, but he's determined to get that extra 3 miles per gallon or 3 miles per hour out of everything. So, but anyway, we're gonna get off and turn around. But there's one thing I want to mention, and that is the DPF filter and cleaning of the DPF filter. Now, I just did a regen on the truck, and I got the filter to burn down to 0. I did a operator command regen, which is a great thing to have if you have one of these trucks and it's not deleted, to go ahead and turn on the operator command regen. You can actually go to the dealer and have that turned on if you already don't have it turned on. Check out Power Stroke Tech Talk with A-Rod, his channel, and he has a few videos on how to turn that on. But with that turned on, I was able to do a regen, and I wanted to do that before doing this test because, having a fresh regen and having a clean DPF filter, I guess that would help with your results. It probably wouldn't make a difference. But I will say this. What I've noticed is after you do a regen, the DPF filter does not build up back pressure the same. So I've been driving along here and we go to maintenance monitor, and our DPF exhaust filter back pressure is still at 0%, guys. Now, prior to this, I was at 95%. And I drove just to get fuel and just whatever, not far at all. And the DPF filter got up to 100%. Just got gained 5% that quickly. Now, after doing a regen, I think my theory is that it's still hot. My theory is it's still hot. So it's not building up pressure or back pressure, like it's just burning off. It's just so hot that it burns off, because I've noticed that when I was plowing snow one day, I did a regen, operator command regen in the field while plowing snow, and it was a weird spot where there was too much. Gotta accelerate here. There was a weird spot where there was too many cars parked because it was Christmas. And I did an operator command regen, and I just shoveled this driveway that I usually plow, but I went ahead and shoveled it because I didn't want to get into an accident trying to plow with all these cars parked across from the driveway. And I did an operator command regen, and after that regen, the DPF gained no more back pressure. And I think it's because the DPF continued to stay hot after running, and I never really gave it a chance to cool down. And that seems to be the case. Like, I just did a regen, and the DPF is so hot now after a regen that it's just not building up pressure. But that's what operator command regen, because when I've done the normal regen, a dynamic regen where the computer kind of just kicks in and it does it while you're driving, it's gotten down to 0, and then after it hit 0, continuing to drive, it just kind of built back up. So I wonder if doing an operator command regen is at all different than doing a regular dynamic regen. So that's just what I wanted to say. Seems like after a regen, the DPF filter stays pretty hot. And let me get over. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna add the cetane after this test. I'm gonna cruise here at 66. I had to use a little power to get on here, but I'm gonna lock it in now at 66, and we will go ahead and repeat this test with the additive. But I'll see you guys at the gas station. Alright guys, back to where we started, and the MPG is at 15.1 miles to the gallon for the last 30 miles. That's hauling some serious weight, and really is quite impressive. But we're gonna go ahead now and go to the fuel station, fill up, add our additive, and then do the same exact test with the additive and see if it improves at all. See you guys at the fuel station. Alright, so here we are. We are going to add the cetane booster to the truck. We are going to add 8 ounces to treat for 50 gallons. We have 48 gallons on the truck, so that's pretty close. So let's go ahead and add this product to the truck. Alright, now topping off with fuel in order to mix everything up. Back to our starting point to repeat the test one more time with the additive in the truck. Alright guys, back at the starting location. We are going to reset trip number 2, and that's going to be our second trip, and we'll run the same test and see what we get. We'll do our best to mimic the driving characteristics of the first drive. Anyway, see you guys on the freeway. Alright, getting back on the freeway here. Got to get on it the same way I did the first run. We'll see if there's any improvements with the MPG. We'll lock her down at 66. And we'll continue this drive till we get to our starting location. We'll see what kind of MPG we return. All right, guys, and there you have it. Back to the starting point, 15.1 miles to the gallon with the cetane booster in the truck. Now, I think that's pretty close to what we got before, so not a huge improvement, if any, but nonetheless, interesting to see if the products actually improve MPG. So far in my testing, not so much, but that being said, they probably still do the other things that they are advertised to do. But one thing that's really interesting is through all of this, through the maintenance monitor, our diesel exhaust filter is still at 0%. And normally when I'm driving the truck, whether it's highway, whether it's city, my diesel exhaust filter is being filled no matter what. But like I said, I've noticed if I do a regen, then that means all the driving after that regen is not going to fill the exhaust filter, because the exhaust must still be hot. It must still be hot. So that is pretty interesting. We are slowly learning the truck, learning how to live with the diesel. And so far, guys, I am enjoying the truck. But if you like content with this truck, check out the playlist that I've put together that pretty much shows this truck from start to current day. But anyway, guys, this is DS Trucks, where we run nothing but the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Sean. See you in the next video. Over and out.